Hello, everybody. My name is Jim Farmer. I am the Vice President of SEFCA, the Southeastern Film Critics Association. I'm so excited tonight to be speaking to Danielle Deadwyler. Danielle's film, 40 Acres, is now in theaters. I'm going to do a brief description, then we're going to jump into some questions. In a post-apocalyptic world with food scarcity, a Black family of Canadian farmers descended from American Civil War migrants defend their homeland against cannibals trying to seize their resources. The film's extraordinary. I watched it this week. Danielle, thank you so much for talking to us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Our pleasure. So, what attracted you to this material?
Oh, goodness, everything about family dynamics to the way they fight viciously, ruthlessly for themselves, for their family, and specifically for the land. I was, digging into my own personal connection to my family's land, my grandparents, what it meant to grow up there as a child in the summers, and just thinking about all those kind of cultural ways that I'd learned then, and I felt those in RT script, and I wanted to dig further into that in a kind of futuristic capacity, and how folks defend themselves. So yeah, and by chance the ability to do it happened because we filmed during the strikes. So we were on a waiver, and
Hey,
it's a privilege to work in any capacity, but just to work at that time to tell this kind of story of a Black and Indigenous family creating cultural ways that were historical and implementing them in this apocalyptic world, implementing food ways and agricultural practices that were critical to the life that they were building, and the just the balance of masculine and feminine love in the dynamic between Hailey and Galen. Those things were really attractive to want to play with.
exactly. How would you describe Haley?
What you mean? Dogged, a general, um, tender at core,
Yeah.
fiercely matriarchal. It's so much to that. I think there's a presumption of hardness because we see the action component of things or the dramatic component of things, specifically
Exactly.
with regard to the way that my career has panned out. But there's always other colored nuggets that are in there. The way she interfaces when she's talking about how her and Sarge got together, and just the history of the making of the farm, and um there are other little sweet things, like when they're celebrating the birthday revolution of one of the daughters. All of that, like, those are different flavors to what it means to be her. It's not just the hardcore component. It is this other stuff that people don't always get to see with regard to the labor of this kind of Black matriarch.
She's so complex.
Deeply, as we all are. The question is, do you show it, right? And Haley shows what needs to be shown,
Yeah.
based on the need to implement survival tactics and awareness and knowledge in her children. Yeah.
I ask you about Haley. What else is the family going through? Because the family's going through a lot. Obviously, Emmanuel's growing up, needing human contact. They're trying to survive. But what all is tell me what all the family's dealing with right now.
I mean, the family is dealing with typical stuff amongst an apocalyptic background.
Yeah.
It's a coming of age story in that Emmanuel wants to and is feeling biological needs and changes. As all of the children are, they're looking towards each other. It's four of them, and so they're like, oh, the little one wants to learn language from the others, and they're wanting to dig into other kinds of books and whatnot, thinking of the conversation that they're having about Parable of the Sower and the Proletariat's Pocketbook, wanting independence and freedom. She's rearing them, Haley is,
Mhm.
in this kind of resistance-oriented knowledge and literary texts, and yet being very hardcore on keeping them within the boundaries of the farm, as well as how she wants them to rear themselves. So that's a generational confrontation that's happening. But I can totally understand why this is happening. Hailey is like, there are the fiercest of violent, terroristic, ruthless cannibals beyond these walls. And that's why it's happening. But you can't tell somebody resist and then hold them on a chain in a certain kind of way. And yet, the theory has to be practiced, and Emmanuel surely puts it to the test.
Exactly. We were talking about this a bit earlier, but this is so character driven, and it's such a
Yeah.
it's an ensemble piece. But can you just sort of talk about all these great characters all working together so perfectly?
I mean, that's the joy of doing this kind of work. I mean, ensemble work is super, super fun. Everything, the interesting, films, even if they are action or thriller oriented or driven, it is what is happening between these people.
Yeah.
And what's the question again?
I was just asking you about it was more of a comment about the fact that this was
Mhm.
so character driven.
Yeah, the family.
Yeah.
I I learned so much from working with the young folks, with Katim and Haile and Lena and Jada. Um, the presumption is that they're going to get something from myself and Michael Grayas, but we got so much from them. They have an energy, a rich, rich energy, a playfulness. Because we shot up in Canada, in north of Toronto, 3 hours north, in Sudbury. And we were building an artistic family amongst building the Freeman family. And I think that's the thing that shows there. It's just people, we're folks who are coming together for the sake of the story, for the sake of showing the deep need, the rich needs of each individual in this family. And it was deeply playful. I mean, all of the stuff at the table, I mean, like, that's delightful. The challenge now is like, who's sitting down having family dinner and rigorous family dinner in this way? A lot of this stems from RT's experience with his own mother. He speaks about, she's the one who, is having them do book reports that aren't school affiliated, right? Like, those are the things that kind of discipline is defining, um, define his experience, and are kind of nuggets that are woven into the film that are really bringing us together with what it means to be in this family.
I'm going to ask one more question
Wow.
and let Al jump in as well. But you were an executive producer of this project as well. What all did that entail?
This is executive producing is largely centered around creative influence and leadership,
Okay.
the ability to have conversations in a rich and deep way to enable the story to be fully, as fully fleshed as possible, to bring things to the fold for RT's vision to be brought to life. I've had the privilege of doing executive producer work in a few projects, and it's just having having deeper say.
Okay.
Uh,
Mm.
a rogue for hire. You're a collaborator. It's just greater leadership and influence. That's what I posit it as. It's also just like a stepmother of sorts. I think of producers as those who are meant to mother a project, truly the verb of it, not necessarily the noun, and to carry something forth and all the way through. And an EP is a creative support unto that producer to make this visually, uh, sound wise, in all the ways, fully come into play, to the best of his ability.
Okay, good. Al?
Oh, how you doing, Danielle? I'm Al McGee. I'm a
Good.
member of SEFCA, and
Mhm.
it's really great to see you again, and really great this film. But let me ask you a question about Haley and her son, Emmanuel.
Mhm.
Does she really understand that how he wants to be a man and be independent, even though you, Haley, the mother and you a veteran and things like that, you know you have to pin him down so he can focus on surviving. But do she really understand how he wants to be a man?
I think surely she does, but awareness is lacking. It's also, yeah, I think it's a new thing in you create a system. They've created a system in their world, and it's not an easy thing to relinquish your child into their own adulthood, let alone in the midst of cannibals in the world. I mean, comparatively, we think about now, it's a challenge, as many of the matriarchal roles that I've performed over the course of the last few years. Mothers talk about or parents in general talk about the challenge of sending their Black children out into the world, just to go down the street, to go to the store, or anything for that matter, right? Or just to be outside playing. This is a whole nother imagining of what that means, the challenge of what that means. And as one will find out in the film, does or does not do well in his awareness, and obviously will make mistakes. But surely she knows what it means to desire independence and a want for manhood. But it's kind of tough to yield to that, knowing the world that is outside of them.
Now, working with the director, R.T. Thorne, this is really his first feature. Now, he has done music videos and things like that and worked with many other stars and music people. Uh, did he have the range for you to understand your character? I mean, you did understand the character in the film. I understand the way I saw it, but did he have any difficulties trying to direct you to be your character?
No, I think that RT has a rich knowledge of television, in conjunction with the music video knowledge that he has. It's his sound and visual. So he has his own rhythm and flow. We built a language together. I come on the projects for a lot of reasons: script, complexity, intelligence, and I want to work with a certain director because that's who inevitably will be the leader. He is a co-writer of the film as well. So I don't join anything half-heartedly. And I found him to be a divine leader.
Oh, that's great. And also, working with Michael Gray Eyes. This is the first time I really heard of him, and this is the first time I've seen him in a film. And man, the guy to me is very impressive. Did you all talk about your characters collaborating in them and putting them together to make it fulfilling for this film?
Michael Gray Eyes is kind of a long-running staple in all kinds of films, right? Like he's just been in the game for an extremely long amount of time. He's got a wealth of knowledge, brought a particular knowledge about indigenous practices as well as language, and much of it I employed in my understanding of how him and Hailey and Galen move through the world. Actors do their own individual thing, and you adhere to the dynamics that the script paints out for you. But myself and him, as well as the younger cast, work together and talk through a lot of different things. I just think it's pivotal to creating the family dynamic as well as the partnership dynamic that existed between Hailey and Galen.
And one more question. Now, this is more like an action uh, uh, role for you in this one. Do you like action roles now?
I think it's a multi-layered dynamic. I think anything I get to do has, a physicality, a linguistic play. All those things are significant to the way that I weave the character. But yeah, action is delightful. It's like it's choreography, it's movement, it's just my first language in that it has a dance quality to it, and dance is the medium in which I, was first rooted into the arts in as a child. And so anytime I get to do that, well, I mean, it's any work encompasses a physicality to it that the role of an action film just employs much more rigorous and aggressive, movement to it. And so Yeah, I want to shoot people and fight. Sometimes that's just the name of the game.
Thank you very much.
Danielle, I'm looking over your credits for the last year. It's like, gee, it's pretty amazing. 40 Acres, The Piano Lesson, Carry On, I Saw the TV Glow, Parallel, The Woman in the Yard, The Bear. I mean, you've done such amazing work. Congratulations on the last year and a half that you've had. But how do you approach, new projects? I mean, what do you are you always what are your challenges when you say yes to something?
I don't know. It's really a yes and or. I
Okay.
like, that's the thing. Um, the challenge is making the adjustment physically
Yeah.
to get into the thing, but just saying yes to it. I mean, there's been a lot of time in between a lot of these works.
Yeah.
Uh, um, and so I have the ability to rest and recover. That's the most significant thing so that you can be capable of doing the next thing.
Okay.
But
Wow,
it's
that's
been a
really
delightful
great.
time. It's been good. It's been a challenge, but it's been fun.
Great.
Hmm.
Yeah, Danielle, one more quick question for me, Al McGee. Now, people, many times people when they see actors on in the movies and things, they don't really fully understand this is a business, and then they got people working around them, and you got people managers and people like that working around you, and also helping you to guide you to some of these roles. But you always have the last say about that. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Um, I think you defined it. That's pretty much it. It's a conversation between peoples to see what's most ideal for you. I think at core you have an understanding of what's attractive to you as an artist. As I said, the kinds of scripts that come my way or the ones that are intriguing to me are smart, complex, well written, uh, um, um, you know, things that are challenging normative standards and that's interesting to me and who I get to play with. Who do I get to play with director wise as at the base, as well as producers? Who is carrying and shepherding a project forward? And your team tends to bring you work. I mean, work comes in all kinds of ways, the conversation of the artistic relationships that you may have, but also who the agents or the manager may bring into the fold. And you dialogue about what's most ideal for you. And does this fit into um, how you think of yourself thematically, exploring stories and narratives. So yeah, it's just an ongoing conversation. I don't think it's anything more magically like different than that. Everybody has their own methods to getting to the thing, but at the end of the day, it's a collaborative conversation always, and selecting what's best for you. And sometimes it's just freaking happenstance. Schedules are out of control. Can they work? If they do, righteous. If they do not, flow.
I think we have about 5 minutes, so we're going to close with two more quick questions. I have to ask you about your theater roots because I remember I think the first show I ever saw you in was the CA Lions project at the Alliance, and that was
That
that
was
that was a while
a
ago.
while ago.
I mean, can you talk about your theater roots and how that's really shaped the rest of
Ah,
your career?
the theater roots are still rooting. They are the energy that I mean the roots are in the soil. That's where you're getting all the nutrients from. Just
Mhm.
to bring it back to a discussion about 40 as well. Like how do you what you have sunk your hands and feet, your roots into define how you will grow above ground. And theater has done that for me. It still does that for me. Those are the people that I have conversations with about work. Those are the people that have defined a lot of practicing and modalities of artistic practice for me. And I will be doing the theater sooner than later, you know. I do it in some form, whether it be a reading or constantly, going to witness theater, to be a part of live presentation. That is critical. You have to feel a certain energy and the connectivity to audience. Film is different than that. TV is different than that. But to be present with people, to be um, having an energetic dialogue is something that's critical, because that's actually what's happening on a film or TV set. You're having an energetic dialogue with your crew. They may not be in front of the camera, but they are surely present and having a feeling and having an emotion and an experience with you. But theater just is that dynamic in a completely different way. So, if anybody, I mean, people always ask, what do you think about how do I do theater? Don't ask again. Do theater.
Thank you. All
And,
right, final question.
and,
I know
and
you.
that's a very smart answer. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Okay.
That's a very smart answer. And I have my master's degree in theater myself, and I understand that. But getting back to 40 Acres, what is the main message you want the audience to receive from this very
I
powerful
don't,
film?
yeah, I don't want to prescribe what one should have, but at the basic level is, how do we have hard conversations and still belong to each and come back to each other because we belong to each other. I think that's what the film is about, fighting to stay together. I think that's a critical thing that's happening today in the present. How are people fighting to stay together because it is that freaking dire? And this is just one imaginative way of thinking about it. And encouraging a good time and entertaining time, but also a lot of, truths within it, that how do we stay connected as a family? How do we root to our history? How do we still do all of that and grow and enable those who we love and are fighting for, which are largely our children, to have the capacity to grow into the people that they want to become too.
Yeah. Danielle, as we wrap
Thank you.
up, can you just talk briefly about some of your upcoming projects?
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, when it comes, it comes. But at this time, 40 is out. The Bears, obviously delightfully fun, and people are having a conversation with it. Other things are in development and
Okay.
at various stages, but soon enough, more fun.
Okay, great.
Announcements have been made. Check the trade.
Danielle, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us. Congratulations on the film. 40 Acres is amazing. Congratulations on your career, which is just going so well right now. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Albert. I appreciate y'all. It's been delightful.
Thank you.
Great.
I really appreciate you and your work and your talent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great 4th of July weekend.
Oh, you too.